Hello everybody, Xanathar here, and today I am doing a review of Ultraman Blazar Episode 1. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the characters. Gento Haruma, the captain, / Ultraman Blazar. Now, we don't know too much about him in this episode. We just know he saved people before, and he's a really great captain. And he keeps touching his head. I guess it's a thing he does. But it seems like he has visions, or things are happening when he's not there, or things are going to happen. I was a bit confused by that, but I'm very interested to get that explained to me. And he goes off on his own to save some teammates. Then the Ultraman Blazar transformation device gets on him, and this seems like this is the first time this happening, and it forced him to transform. And that is very interesting, and it makes sense why Blazar would choose him, because he is willing to put his life at risk to save others. My thoughts on him: he is a pretty likable character. It's very interesting. I can't wait to see where his story goes. What is my thoughts on his team? Well, I think they're pretty fun to watch. They're very likable, and I like the fact they get so hyped about their captain. It's very sweet to watch. We also see this mysterious girl that shoots a rocket at the kaiju, and she's talking to somebody. I'm just very curious, who is she? Who is she talking to, and what did she shoot at the kaiju? So far, the characters are very interesting. I can't wait to see more. And the acting is really good. I really like Gento's actor so far. Now let's talk about the dubbing. Now, I did watch the episode twice, once in Japanese and once in the English dub. And my thoughts on the dub so far: let's first talk about who is voicing Gento Haruma. Johnny Yon Boss. If you don't know who that is, he's a very famous anime voice actor, but I personally know him as the second Mighty Morphin Black Ranger, and the Zeo Green Ranger, and the first Turbo Green Ranger. It's so cool he gets to play a Power Ranger and an Ultraman. But how is his voice acting in this episode as Gento? I personally think he's doing a really good job. He's mastering the actor very well, and I really like his performance in this episode. And the other dub actors are also doing a pretty good job as well. So the dubbing in this episode is really good. Just so nice. The main Ultraman show as it's coming out is getting a dub. That's just amazing to me. Now let's talk about the effects. Ultraman Blazar's design is very well done. I love the muscle detail on his body. His zipper is like spikes. It's very cool looking. And that blue thing, it's just so awesome looking. All I can say is Blazar's design just badass. His cutter timer is very interesting, and how he fights like an animal. It's really cool, especially seeing him climb that building. I never thought I would see an Ultraman climb a building, and I needed to see that, but it was awesome to see. And seeing him roar and scream, it's just so cool to watch and listen to that. Honestly, Ultraman Blazar is more kaiju than Ultraman, and that's something I just find very interesting. Also, let's talk about Ultraman Blazar's transformation device. I think it's pretty cool looking. I like the fact it's using coins. Now let's talk about Bazunga. He is a very interesting kaiju. I love the cuddles. I love how massive and big he is. And he's super powerful and just intimidating. A very awesome kaiju. I'm just really happy the fact we finally are seeing new kaijus in an Ultraman show. The practical city effects are beautifully done. They look really good at night, especially the explosions are very well done. There's also so many beautiful shots in this episode. So the effects in this episode are beautifully done, very movie quality in my opinion. Let's talk about the music. There was no intro song, something I found very interesting. But the themes in this episode, especially Blazar's theme in this episode, is just so epic and beautifully done. I just love listening to it. And there was the ending song, and I honestly really liked it. It was a good ending song. It kinda reminded me of Ultraman Nexus ending song. Now let's talk about my criticisms. I honestly can't think of anything I did not like about this episode, so no criticisms. So what did I like about this episode? Seeing gore again in an Ultraman show is so nice to see. I was not expecting that, and when that happened, I literally jumped out of my seat screaming because I was so hyped. So what is my final thoughts for Ultraman Blazar Episode 1? I thought this episode was really good. Honestly, surprising how good this episode was. It felt very different, but still like Ultraman, and that's something I really liked it. So I really liked it this episode. Well, that is it for this review. Thank you so much for watching. Tell me down below what you think of episode 1 of Ultraman Blazar. Don't forget to leave a like, and if you're new, subscribe. Xanathar is out.